Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith. We're not perfect.
We definitely don't have all the answers.
We're inviting you to walk with us as we explore ways we can better know and grow in our faith together.
Welcome back to another episode from Of Sound Mind and Spirit. This is Shelley.
And this is Lisa.
So Lisa, I understand you have had a very special house guest for the last week or so.
We have. In the school year 22-23, our family hosted a foreign exchange student. Her name is Clara, from Spain, and she is back visiting us for a couple of weeks this spring. And it's been a lot of fun having her back in the house.
Yeah, it was really good to see her again at Easter. I know it felt so strange to have her here at first, and then it felt so strange to have her gone. And now it was like, oh, just another kid coming home for Easter.
Exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. It has been like she never left in a way, right?
And I understand that y'all got to do something very special earlier today.
We do.
You got to have a conversation together.
We did. She, after me badgering her forever, she finally let me interview her here for the podcast, and that is what we're going to play for this episode.
All right. Well, let's go jump right into it, and then at the end, we'll come back and I'll talk to you some more about that.
That sounds good. All right, here we go.
I think we should just jump right in. Hi, Clara.
Hi.
Thank you for reluctantly agreeing to talk to me today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are talking almost a year after you left. After spending 10 months. 10 months?
Yes,
10 months with us, living here, and then being gone for 10 months. So I guess I should say, you want to introduce yourself? Your name, like where you're from?
My name is Clara. I'm from Spain, from San Sebastián in the north of Spain. And I'm 17 years old.
I like that. Okay, so you were here, you were 15?
Yes.
You were 15.
I was 15 when I came.
So, but you started the process to be a foreign exchange student like a year before you came. So you were 14.
Yes.
So what at 14 made you want to travel across very far away without your family and live with complete strangers?
I always wanted to, because I would see videos on YouTube about people that did the same thing I did, and I thought it could be fun.
Mm-hmm. And how did you convince your parents?
They said yes at the beginning. They trusted me. So
wow. I'm trying to picture each of my kids at 14 saying, I want to go to Europe for a year. No way. But you very mature.
Yes.
Very mature. Okay, so I don't know if we just want to start at the beginning. When you first arrived, sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it was funny. So you were late.
Yes, because the line was long.
No, I meant you were late. You got here after school started.
Oh,
because just international administration, visa problems. So they pick you up at the airport. You've been on a plane for, I don't know, like forever. 2 planes. And then they just start speaking very loudly and quickly in English to you at the airport. And you were like in shell shock.
Yes. And then we went to Gringos. So
you went and had Tex-Mex right off the bat.
And I had to order by myself. Just 1 hour in Texas. And I had to do that and try to understand their accent. And I was really tired because I didn't sleep on the plane. And it was funny now that I think about it. But at the moment, it was difficult.
And I wasn't there because I was on a plane coming back from taking our oldest to college. So I walked into all of this and then you got up the next morning and I took you straight to the high school and dropped you off.
6 a.m. I had to wake up.
Yeah, and I just kind of dropped you off in the middle of it. So very, very brave.
Yeah, I didn't know where my classes were.
I don't know if it was the best decision necessarily. Probably not, but we did what we did and you survived.
I don't know how.
So what was the biggest, I guess I want to say biggest shock? So I know I'm going to ask it 2 ways. You ready? Or 3 ways probably. Biggest shock for coming to the U.S. Biggest shock to coming to this area, Houston. And then biggest shock living with us.
Okay.
And be nice.
The biggest shock is that people here love Texas. And they have a really big Texas pride.
It's so funny because I think you thought people were making fun of us.
Yes.
That we love everything Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. We say y'all.
But you're proud about it.
We're very proud about it. I remember the first time you saw someone wearing cowboy boots in public.
Yes.
You definitely were surprised.
Yes. I took a picture.
You took a picture, that's right. Okay, what about the U.S. in general? America, United States?
I would say that everything is really far away.
Yeah.
And you need a car to go everywhere.
That's true.
So that was hard for me because I wasn't able to drive. So.
And our youngest did not drive last year. So you and she were both kind of dependent on myself. And,
yes.
Yeah, to get around. And we don't live in a very walkable, friendly area.
No.
It's, everything is very, very far in the suburbs of Houston. Okay, so what about living with us? Surprise. It could be a good surprise or a bad surprise.
It was weird because it was people I didn't know that I was living with all the time. And I don't know, I was trying to do my best.
I do remember the first time you met the grandparents. So my parents, my in-laws, and you couldn't understand them. Because people, where you learned English, and your English is very good, where you learned English, they didn't speak Texas accents.
No. And understanding old people is more difficult.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
How did you prepare to speak and listen to English so much?
I would watch movies in the original voices in English.
And then how long had you taken English at school?
Like, we take it since we get into school, like always.
Always?
Yeah.
Okay. But I do, one of my favorite things is at the end of the day, when you would tell me basically like, no more. I'm done.
Because my brain was not used to it, to think, speak, understand in English. So I would get like to a limit and I couldn't do it. No.
And when you came back here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, having the same thing.
Yeah.
So after a year not speaking, but now I'm okay, I think.
Yeah, you haven't said anything, so that's good. Okay, what about going to school? What was your first impression? The high school's huge, but what was your...
Probably the people, because there are a lot of people. My school in Spain is 500 people, the whole school, and it's from 1 year old to 18 years old. And a reach point is 3,000,
yes,
I think.
3,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Just for high school.
Yeah. And going in the hallways, it was so bad because there would be a lot of people walking.
That's true. That's true. What was one of your favorite things about American high school?
I liked that you could choose your subjects.
That's right. And you also got to participate in sports.
Soccer and tennis.
And how much did that help, I guess, in getting you adjusted to being here?
Because I think that if someone comes to the US to do the same thing I did, the best thing they could do is join the sport, even though they don't like them. Because sports is the best way to make friends. Because you have to, like in class, you are not able to talk to people that much because you have to like pay attention to the teacher. But in soccer or tennis, you have more time to talk to people. So
that's true. And then you realized, I forget, like the first couple of weeks, that there was an organization that you belong to in Spain that also is here in our community. You want to tell us what it was and how it impacted your stay?
So I was in my economics class and I saw one of my classmates with a Young Life t-shirt. And I thought that was familiar to me. And because in Spain, we also have Young Life, which is like
it's a
youth group.
It's like a Christian student organization.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't know that was, I knew it was around the world, but I wasn't expecting it to be in my high school in Texas. So I went up to him. I didn't know how I did that, but I did it. And I went up to him and asked him, is that Young Life? And he told me, yeah, that's Young Life. You should go. There's tonight one meeting. And I went with all seniors and I was really scared, but they were really nice. It was really cool because I knew how that was. So it was cool to have that also here.
Yeah. And that was new to us because none of our kids have ever done Young Life. So it was a different thing for us to be, to experience with you. And then you even went on a weekend retreat with Young Life.
Yes.
After you'd been here, I guess about 3 or 4 months. And that was, I know you were scared.
I was. Because at the beginning, it was really difficult to make friends. Because I would talk to people, but then I wouldn't hang out with them. Because I wasn't that close with them. So I thought, what about going to a camp? And so I went. At the first day, it was really bad. Because I was really scared to talk to everyone. But then everyone would talk to me. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so let's talk about home life here. You're like, you haven't mentioned it, so I'm just going to bring it up. So, I know we, through our agency, had received like a lot of rules and guidelines, and we had to do check-ins. We had to take you to meetups and things like that. But we had gone through this kind of preparation, orientation of what to expect and how to deal with things. And you had on your end too, right? And so, but it still took us a while to kind of feel it out and figure out what works. And in the beginning, I would say we were pretty not ourselves.
Yes.
We were on our best behavior. Is that the way to say it?
Yes.
Like I'm going to out myself in that we sat at the kitchen table for dinner every night. And
well, that's the normal thing to do.
It is a normal thing to do. It is not, however, what we usually do.
I know.
It's not normal here. And so, it took us, I don't remember how long before we finally said, okay, we're just going to be real and show you that we eat dinner on the couch. Every night we eat dinner on the couch, which I know sounds odd, but we just do. So, but it took us a while but then it was more relaxed and better, right?
Yes.
And the dog quit barking at us so much. What about you? How long did it take you to kind of relax into the family?
Probably about a month or two. Because I was trying to do my best and everything. And it was kind of hard because a lot of things to take care of. But then it was easy when I relaxed.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's been fun about you coming back now is that it just is relaxed. I mean, yes. You know, just don't worry about it so much. All the things like food was a huge stressor for me while you were here.
Yes.
Making, you know, I don't
lunch.
I don't like to cook, period.
I know. Trust me.
And so then trying to figure out what you liked, what you didn't like, all while trying to, like, I'm representing American cooking or whatever. And it's a lot. It was a lot of stress. And I know I put it on myself. It took a while to kind of figure out that normal.
Yes.
And then lunch. Do you want to tell them why lunch was hard?
Because you would pack us lunch, which I'm grateful for that. But it would be sandwiches every day. And I didn't really like them. And I didn't want to say anything because I was scared. And also, you were making them for us. So I couldn't really say anything. But then it got to a level that I couldn't even eat them. I'm like, sure, I wouldn't eat them. And then I remember you asking me, you didn't eat lunch? And I was like, oh, yeah. I'm kind of tired of the sandwiches. But then we would have everything, something different every week after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I did better. At some point, we talked about lunch and how different it was, and that for you at your school in Spain that they prepared hot lunch. Lunch was your big meal of the day,
Yes.
and it was a hot lunch. And so for us, dinner is the big meal of the day and usually hot. And lunch is I would right or wrong. Breakfast and lunch are kind of small and inconsequential. So,
and there's not an exact time when you eat lunch. I
No.
also noticed that.
that drives you crazy.
Yeah, 'cause there will be some days that we don't eat lunch, or someone has lunch at like 11, and then someone at 2,
Yes.
and then dinner is at 6 p.m. And in Spain, we have lunch at 10,
Mm.
and that was really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because on weekends we may eat 3 meals, we might only eat 2, we might eat at 11, but we also might eat at 3. Yeah, that's But I think that we did a good job of communicating,
Yes.
figuring it out, trying to work through it. Is there anything you want to ask me?
I mean, why did you decide to take me?
I did a study abroad when I was in college, and I lived with a family in France. I just know what the experience did for me to go to another country. And our youngest child, our daughter, has always been interested in traveling and culture and foreign, just trying to get foreign experience. And so she asked from time to time. We'd known people who'd had an exchange student. We'd always said, no, life's too busy. We don't, all that. So with the older kids going off to college, and Brian saw an ad for an exchange student, and he just said, let's do it. And I was like, okay, 1,000 reasons no. But he was adamant that it would be a great time because she was going to be lonely without her siblings here, and just a really good experience. And so we just kind of went on faith and started the process. And I mean, that's really what it was. We just started and tried not to overthink it, and just trusted that it would be okay. And then we picked you. How we picked you specifically, the agency matched us, asked us like countries or languages if we had any language experience. And so we said, well, all of our kids taking Spanish. So she said, okay, let's match you up with someone who speaks Spanish. I said, okay. And then she asked about interests. And so since Birdie has always played soccer, she looked for a soccer player. And then she gave us, I think it was 3 to choose from. And we read through them, and then we let Birdie read through them, and she picked you.
But you only had like a letter? That's all you had, right?
Yes, we had some basic information. Like we didn't know what part of the country, or, we didn't have an address, or I think we figured out you were from the Basque region because under languages it said Basque. So that was the giveaway, what part of the country you were from. And no, we let Birdie choose and she chose based on your letter. your about you letter. Because do you remember what she said? Because you said in there that sometimes you get angry with your older brother and you fight with him. And she said that's real. Because she definitely could identify with that. And so much of those letters come across as very perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what stuck out to her, for her to pick you. So you didn't get a choice in picking us.
I know.
So we only met on Zoom,
yes.
right? Once before you came.
And it was my mom and my dad and I, and we were in my room all together, really close to each other to fit in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sweating because it was so hot. And we were so nervous. My mom couldn't talk because she doesn't speak English. My dad was talking all the time. And I didn't say a word. I was so nervous that I didn't say anything.
I remember. And then the dog barking.
Yes. I remember that.
That was just a precursor of what to expect with him. That he barks. He's been barking here. And then I would say one of the best parts at the end of the trip is that your parents came over. And so to get you. And so we got to meet them in person. Even though I feel like through social media, through Instagram, we already kind of knew them a little bit.
Yeah, but it was cool for me that they could see where my stories that I told them took place, so they could see it better. And that was cool.
What did they? Well, I shouldn't ask you to tell stories on them. I was gonna say, what did they say? When they came and were able to see, the house, the neighborhood, the school, the city. Did they understand more all of a sudden of what you've been saying to them for years?
Yeah, I think it's easier because through the phone I could tell them, but they couldn't really imagine. Mm-hmm. So we went to the high school and they were like, "Oh, now I get it. So this is the cafeteria, and then the soccer fields." So yeah,
that's pretty cool. What did you learn the most about spending 10 months as a foreign exchange student? You weren't listening. Okay, I'll try again. See, you're like one of my kids. What did you learn after spending 10 months as a foreign exchange student?
I mean, I could learn how different cultures work and teenagers and all that. But I think that the most important thing I learned is more about myself and what I like doing, how I like to express myself. And I think that was pretty cool because I changed, but for the better.
Oh, I like that. It takes a special teenager, I would say, to be able to be away from home for so long and have so many differences and challenges. And you did. I mean, you're the only foreign exchange student we've had, but I think you did really, really well.
Thank you.
And I think for us, I think what surprised us about at times how easy it was, and I think a lot of that's your personality and being easygoing and straightforward. You're very straightforward. But I also think it surprised us how much we fell in love with you.
Oh.
So I just not only love you, but now your family. I feel like we're all one family now. And I don't know if that's corny or not, but I do. I really do. And I people had said before you came that, either it's going to be a horrible experience or, you'll make a family for life. Yeah. And so I do think that's true. Well, thank you for
thank you for this amazing experience.
The recording?
Of course.
I know how much you wanted to do this today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell Indy bye. He did pretty good. Maybe not.
Wow, that's so fantastic.
We had fun. It was we just sat. I apologize now for the audio quality in that we just sat across my desk and shared a microphone, and it is what it is. But I'm so glad that she agreed to have that conversation.
I'm really impressed because I know when she first got here, she was so careful about speaking English, and
Mhm.
now she's just like one of the family. It doesn't seem to bother her at all. So I wanted to ask you, I know you touched briefly on how you selected her and why you wanted to have a foreign exchange student, but I want to know, how did you choose where to go? I understand there are different agencies and different, I mean, did someone recommend this place for you?
That's a great question. No, we we found them on Facebook. Believe it or not, they were advertising for our high school. To every high school has a certain amount of spots they hold and they reserve for exchange students, and this agency was advertising spots, and so we reached out to them and got the ball rolling. I'll tell you which one it is. It's a program for American Exchange. They go by the initials PAX, PAX. And we had a wonderful experience with them.
Well, what was some of the prep work like? What did they need from you to be able to be accepted?
Gosh, it's hard for me to remember exactly, but we did background checks. Obviously, they had to come visit us here at the house. We filled out extensive, well, I shouldn't say extensive questionnaires, but I mean, you're having a young person live with you for a year, so it was, I feel like it was adequate for what we were doing. And then the thing that I think separated our agency from some of the others from people I've talked to is that I feel like we had a coordinator that we met with. I think she did a fabulous job preparing us for the reality. Um, she was very careful to not paint this as it will all be, sunshine and rainbows and beautifully easy and wonderful. She's like, this is a real person and a real teenager. And there are a lot of emotions and issues and things like that come with it. And so she really, with our orientation and then meeting with her one-on-one, she really prepped us for issues that might come up, how to deal with it. And she was always available, text or phone call, to help us if we had something going on.
That's great. Were there any specific requirements or things that you had to do with her while she was here?
Not really. It was impressed upon us that this was not a tourist year, that we were not expected to show her America or to show her Houston or any of those kinds of things. It was really about, we were supposed to just integrate her into our lives. So just give her a normal experience of how we go about our daily lives and family. And of course, we did take her. I mean, we took her to Dallas, we took her to San Antonio to the Riverwalk, and she went to the ranch with us a few times. So we did some things like that. Sure, tourist in your hometown, which is kind of fun, but it's not expected. What's expected is that you provide them, 3 meals a day and a room. They can either, at least our agency, I'm not sure about all of them, they can either share a room with a same-sex host sibling, or they have their own room. And someone from the State Department does come out to your house and verify that all of this, after she's arrived, that all of it is set up correctly.
So eating at the kitchen table was not a requirement.
No.
Eating on TV trays on the couch was okay.
That was so funny when we finally gave that up and decided to just be normal. It was a huge turning point.
So,
And I would say they do come with their own money if they need a laptop for school, phone plans, all those kinds of things. So you're not expected to, be shelling out. They have their own health insurance, all of that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, it really is like having another kid join your family and become kind of like a foster daughter, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But how long did it take y'all to kind of get used to each other? Because that must have been really weird.
It was, yeah. I can't say. I know before Thanksgiving we were much more relaxed, and we had a few things to work out, and one of it was food. And I don't love. I've talked about this so many times. I don't love making meals, and it was a huge issue, and that we wanted her to be comfortable. So I wanted her to like things and enjoy things. And there were some catastrophes, like my attempt at making quiche, not because she likes it, but because I like quiche, and I was just trying, and stuff like that. But I would say it took a couple of weeks for us to settle in, for sure.
I know that she discovered that she enjoyed cooking along with your husband, and
Yes.
I did get to taste her, what was it called that she made, the potatoes?
Tortilla de patatas.
There you go.
That's how you say it. Okay, if anyone's listening, I said that wrong. I don't want to hear about it.
Hey, as long as she made it and we ate it, because it was delicious.
She made it a bunch. Yes, most foreign exchange students, from my understanding, come knowing one dish. They're supposed to know how to make one cultural dish, and that was hers. And she jumped in.
But didn't y'all do a paella once where her family got on? Yeah.
Yes, that was great. So her parents, mostly her dad, made a video for us on how to make paella. And then we had a grand time making it. And then we tried to make a video showing them how to make chili, which was a lot more complicated. I mean, that chili, it must have taken us a day and a half to make. And the videos were long, and then there were like dance parties, and it was such a mess. We had the best time making it and watching. So back and forth with her family with videos, and they were very interactive with us.
That's cool. Okay. Last question. What would you say to somebody else if they were interested in hosting a foreign exchange student, but really were kind of on the fence?
I would take a deep breath. I would pray. We did a lot of praying about it, and whether or not it was something that we were called to do, and whether or not it would work, I guess is the right word to say. So I would say pray, and then I would kind of figure out what your objections are, and are those just worry, anxiety, panic, or do you have some valid? I shouldn't say that's not valid. Worry and anxiety is valid, but you know what I'm saying? Like, is it things you're just concerned about because it's the unknown, or are there real stumbling blocks? I think I tend to go towards the worry, anxiety side. And with this, like I said, I really just turned it over to God, did a lot of praying, and said, God, if she's meant to be here, she will come, and we will figure it out. And
he answered you.
He did.
Big time. Isn't that funny? That's a really good surrender story too.
It's true. I told my family for sure that God picked her for us. I really believe that, but God picked her for our family, and I hope that He picked us for her as well. So it really was beautiful here.
I have to say, it did feel as though she was hand chosen for us, because she really fit in well with the whole extended family also. And once she got over that shock of meeting all 17 of us,
yeah,
or 12 of us, once she got over the shock of meeting all 12 of us, along with your 5, my goodness, she just fit right in, completely her own, which is hard to do in this crazy family.
Well, you just think about all the personalities in all the world, and yet it all worked out. And then us having the opportunity to meet her family, her parents, as we said, came over last June, just for a couple of days. And then we went to visit them in Spain over the summer. So we got to go see her hometown, and she got to show us her culture through food and all of that. And it was very, very special.
I have a feeling that she's going to be kind of a pseudo adopted child for life, two families here. So
I hope so. I really do.
Lisa, I want to tell you, thank you for gently encouraging her to participate in this, because this was a really interesting experience to have her visiting, to have her living with you last year, and then to have her come back and visit again. It was a real treat. So
Yes, I'm thrilled that she took me up on the invitation to talk on video. I mean, on audio. We did not do video. She would not. She did not agree to that. But I'm really glad that we did this.
Yep. She's a very, very bright and confident young lady, and I can't wait to see where she grows into in the future. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for listening to this. And just a reminder that we are still inviting you to like, share with your friends, leave us a review, and most importantly, stay in touch with us. If you're just returning back to social media after Lent, check to be sure that you're getting our communications, and go to our website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and sign up for our email list so that you get our communications and you always know when there's something new.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, y'all.